One would almost think we're here to discuss awesomeness. And you'd be right. How are y'all, everybody? Happy New Year. Welcome back to the theme streams. So, yeah, got some new ones. Got a theme of top picks of the last year. And there's only 4 weeks in which I'm doing it. So, it's basically my top 4. Yeah. And surprisingly, Deadpool and Wolverine is not going to be one of them. Just to let y'all know. I know you'd be like, how the hell did you not like Deadpool and Wolverine in your top 4? It's in my top 5, but there's not 5 weeks in, or there's not 5 Tuesdays. So, yeah, it reaches Tuesday, or it reaches top 5, but not top 4. Anyway, I am also live on X. And anybody who wants to watch over there, I truly appreciate it, but I would also appreciate even more support on my YouTube channel. So I have a reason to stick with it, because otherwise I'm just going to have to get rid of it and do all my shit over on X. And I like YouTube. Believe me, I like YouTube. I didn't like Deadpool 3 much lesser than the first two. And that's, yeah. But today we're going to be talking Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And yeah. Let's see here. This movie with these 3. And I gotta say, when I went to the movie to see this movie, the trailers had me interested, folks. Trailers had me real interested. Because when the first Sonic came out, I saw the design and I'm like, what on earth is that thing? It doesn't look anything like the video game. Well, Jeff Fowler, the director, we all know that he actually listened to us. And he came out with the updated one. Yeah, so good to see you. And I gotta say, he did a good job. He listened. He didn't attack us, the fans and the audience, like most people in Hollywood does. This guy took a different approach, and it paid off, because now he's 3 movies in with the promise of a 4th before the 3rd one even came out. The 4th was greenlit. That's the cool thing about the Sonic franchise, folks. Everybody is embracing it. And you want to know what? No wokeness. There's literally no wokeness in the Sonic movies. Holy shit. Imagine that. They just wanted to entertain people. And I remember all the controversies surrounding the first one. When the first one was coming out, everybody was like, oh my God, it's exercise and bestiality and whatnot. I would rather take my kids to see the Birds of Prey movie and whatnot. Those were all those bot accounts that were saying that crap all over Twitter when it was Twitter. And then the movie came out, people were loving it, and it blew the expectations right out of the water. Everybody loved Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and I'm like, nice. And then we see the stinger at the end of that movie with Tails, and then this one comes up, or Sonic 2 comes up, rather, and we get Knuckles, Idris Elba playing Knuckles, man. Dude, a more perfect voice cast for Knuckles could not have been done. Idris Elba really did a great job. Disney is trying to sabotage the competition. Oh, yes. And then this one came out after having the tease of Shadow in the second one. And yeah. Disney tried buying out as many screens as they could at theaters, and as many theaters as they could, where this movie had as many as it could, and it still became the #1 movie in America. Unfortunately, it didn't get as big of a release out and about in the rest of the world, and Lion King took the spot for #1 in the world. But in America, Sonic is the king here, man. But yeah, sorry, I got a thing on my lip that keeps on getting dry. So 1 second. Better. So then this movie came out, and I'm like, it's gonna be nice, wholesome fun. It's gonna be nice and friendly and friendly movie. Yes, have some seriousness in it. And then I watched this movie, and I'm like, this is Dragon Ball Z and Sonic the Hedgehog land. Holy fuck, I love this. I absolutely love this movie. And that's the thing. I'm not kidding. They turned a scene in this movie. Folks, by the way, I am going to be discussing full spoilers, by the way. Full spoilers ahead. This movie had a Dragon Ball Z episode, basically. It was a Dragon Ball Z movie in a Sonic the Hedgehog hell. Those Chaos Emeralds, when I first saw the whole Chaos Emerald thing in the first movie, or in the second movie, and we see Super Sonic, basically a Super Saiyan version of Sonic the Hedgehog, with the red eyes and the yellow fur spiked up. And then we're going to see it in this one, because he's going to have to try to stop Shadow somehow. But then the craziest fucking thing happens in this movie. And I got the overlays, folks. As I said, there's going to be some things. I mean, Jim Carrey was great, but the fights in this were great. And in this fight, where they were fighting against each other, and Shadow was actually holding his own against Sonic when he was in his super form, that just tells you immediately that Sonic was a lot stronger, or that Shadow is a lot stronger than Sonic. I also love this moment. I mean, this movie, folks, a lot of people don't pay attention to small minutia of things, but there was a scene that is similar to this scene here, with Knuckles crashing into the London facility. And there's a similar scene where he's flying with with his flaming fists up in the higher atmosphere, because some of this does take place in space. It's in the trailers, and he's actually coming down, and up in the space area in the higher atmosphere. When he's coming down, you notice his fists aren't blazing as brightly and as strongly as they were down in London. They're actually less oxygen for the flame, and so yeah, his flaming fists were not as powerful. So that is extraordinary attention to detail that you don't usually see in a lot of movies nowadays. So yeah, objectively speaking, this movie is up there. How would I compare the Sonic trilogy with other video game films such as Super Mario Brothers? I saw the Super Mario Brothers. It was okay. But Sonic is far more superior. The Mortal Kombat 95 movie, good movie. Tomb Raider duology, I liked it. I also did like the Vikander one as well. Pokemon films, both animated and live action. I like I like those films. I really do. I actually like the animated ones. And Detective Pikachu was okay. I liked it. But for the most part, I get the most enjoyment when it comes to video game movies out of the Sonic movies, because they're not just for the kids. They have adult themes that some kids won't really understand all the way through, but the parents will. When you have characters in here like Shadow the Hedgehog, let's see if I can, or I'm pretty sure I had a shot of just Shadow, but no, I didn't. But also Jim Carrey playing two roles as Ivo Robotnik and Gerald Robotnik. That was a good one. Now, folks, when they introduced the Shadow theme, or the Shadow the Hedgehog shot in the end of Sonic 2, and they said he's been here for like 50 years, my mind just been like, how could he have been here for 50? Oh, right. Robotnik had the Chaos Emeralds, and he was basically supercharged with the ability to do anything. So he would have been able to, like, I don't know, clone Sonic in a genetically different way to create Shadow. Because I'm not a huge follower of the games. I'm not aware of all of the different origins and whatnot. So that was my thoughts on that. It turned out not to be true. It just turned out that Shadow arrived on Earth 50 years prior to Sonic. You know, imagine Disney does the same shit with Cap 4 and Snow White release. Hey, that's why, Sakura, I do not watch the movies. I will not go to the theaters to watch Snow White or Cap 4 because I want them to fail. I personally want them to fail because they need to fail. They need to fail because Disney needs to learn that we are no longer going to tolerate crap content. That's just the way it is. By the way, I really do not like Sam Wilson as Captain America because him as Captain America sympathized with terrorists in that Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Yeah, he sympathized with terrorists and then started playing race victim after he came out as Captain America. So yeah, I don't think he is worthy of the title of Captain America because Captain America knows right from wrong. Good to see you, Xavier. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, Pierce. And Captain America is uncompromising against evil deeds. And he is going to be like, look, that shit ain't right, you know? Actual Steve Rogers would have been like, this has nothing to do with race. This has everything to do with you and what's right and wrong. You know? That's basically what the real Captain America would have been like. Chris Evans, however, would have gone along with any sort of woke ideology that they would have put in there if he was still alive. Apparently, he is still alive because they're going to have him in Avengers Doomsday. Sorry, still got that split lip, and it's bothering me. But getting back to this movie, getting back to the fight that they had, the two Robotniks. I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog, no joke, folks. Shadow the Hedgehog is a kind of like a Doomsday character. A character, except that instead of mindless slaughter, he is very much chaos because he has chaos energy. However, his motives are because his friend was killed and whatnot. He absolutely hates those who treated him like a freak, who didn't accept him just because he was a little different, you know? Yet Robotnik's granddaughter was keeping Shadow essentially as not a pet, but a friend. She was his only friend, and when she died, he went nuts. So they had to seal him away. You're familiar with the games, Orange? I figured you played Sonic. No, honestly, I didn't play Sonic. I never paid attention to it. To be completely honest, Pierce, I only paid attention to the Sonic movies due to the fact that Jeff Fowler respected the audience. But then I got into the Sonic stuff. I haven't played the games, but the movies are my guide, essentially. The movies are my guide. Yes, there's going to be differences and whatnot, and I'm aware of some things here and there, but the movies are essentially my guide into the Sonic universe. Because I wanted to support Jeff Fowler for his respect that he showed. But then, but getting back to it, I mean, I absolutely love the scene in Hong Kong where these guys show up, all three of them, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and then Shadow is like, "You're a colorful bunch," and they're looking at him like, "Who the heck are you?" He's like, "You came in here on a gun chopper. That says everything I need to know about you." Wants nothing to do with them because Gun in Shadow's mind is the absolute enemy. And then we see the fights. And I got to say, folks, I'm not going to show any of the fights. I am going to show a couple of the major spoilers. But the fights are brutal. He comes in, or Knuckles go, or we saw how Knuckles handed Sonic his ass in the second movie. Well, Knuckles gets his ass handed to him because Shadow's like, okay, and he just teleports. He's a teleporter as well as very fast himself with his rollerblades and whatnot. But he grabs Knuckles, slams him down, kicks his ass, and it's like, oh shit, you know? And then he just goes right after Sonic and Tails, doesn't even give them time to have any sort of witty banter. That is what I like in a villain. If you have a very violent villain, they ain't going to care about what you have to say. They just want to kick your ass. That is why I liked that Keanu Reeves was in this movie as Shadow. Keanu Reeves as Shadow was the best casting choice they had ever done. I mean, when it comes to this one, I love this poster because it shows that Sonic and Shadow are essentially opposites in every single way. Red, blue, orange, black, white, and whatnot. This, or Shadow, is not anything that he had what Sonic had, a little bit of what Sonic had. Unfortunately, it was taken from him. And those around him stopped treating him as if he was or stopped treating him as if he could be an asset. They only saw him as a freak and a monster. Hey, Kamen Rider, good to see you. How would I compare Jim Carrey's Dr. Ivo Robotnik as well as Gerald Robotnik, with his other roles such as Ace Ventura? As crazy as Jim Carrey is in real life, he's an admitted socialist, but I'm not going to get into the politics of it. He's a great actor. He is a great comedy actor. And I think that he has done so well with characters like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumbers, and all that stuff. He was great in The Mask. Truman Show, Living Color. I loved him in Grinch, Eternal Sunshine. I've not seen the other movies. But him as Ivo Robotnik. And in this one as Gerald Robotnik. Freaking phenomenal. Jim Carrey, it's as if Jim Carrey never stopped acting. He came back as Robotnik and just took off as if he had not gone years without acting. And then coming back for 2 and 3, this movie, he did a great job. And in this movie, he's playing 2 different characters. He's playing himself, or his Robotnik character, and he's playing that character's grandfather. And these are 2 separate characters, both obviously are separate physically, but also ideally, because you have Robotnik who wants to rule the world, and then you have Gerald Robotnik who actually is very much with Shadow and wants to destroy the world. Because Gerald's world was destroyed, essentially. The whole reason for him living, his granddaughter, killed. Shadow, his best friend, which was the granddaughter, killed. And I love that thing. It's like, by the time we're done, there won't be a world to rule. I want it gone. I don't want to rule the world. I don't want to terrorize the world. I want to destroy the world. When you have a character that is that much sociopathic, Jim Carrey played it brilliantly. So this movie does deserve all of the hype. As for Disney's not going to learn their lesson unless people and I am going to say this, as if people like Geeks and Gamers and them, who were very much against what Disney was doing, until they eventually decide to take a stand and, maybe tell their followers to take a stand themselves, I'm not going to be one to tell people how to do stuff, make up your own minds and whatnot. I just don't believe in breaking the law in order to watch a movie. I mean, yes, there are I don't believe in misdirecting to watch a movie, shall I say. Why is Jim crazy? Because honestly, he has the same mental handicaps as I do. He has ADHD and a few other things wrong with him. I hope Jim Carrey retired so we can have more screen time on characters like Shadow, Amy, and hopefully Rose? I'm guessing you mean Rose. Or Tails or whatever. I believe he's 62 years old. Any thoughts, Orange Hat? As I said, Jim Carrey, well, in this movie, it comes to a very solid conclusion. Now, if he shows up in 4, I'd be wondering why. Let's just say that. If he shows up in 4, I'm wondering why. Because we see that there are some characters who get their bow out. Life-wise, shall we say. But the one thing I wish they would stop doing is making villains noble. Now, yes, you got noble villains, certain stuff here and there. Robotnik in the games, I do believe, is very much evil. He doesn't care. Where you then see Robotnik in this movie is like, wait, my grandpa wants to destroy the world? I want to rule the world. I'm sorry. I actually want to rule the world. I'm not going to let him destroy it. So, yes, he does the whole my enemy, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend in this case. But having him have a sort of redemption little arc, I'm not really that fond of. Now, yes, I want more screen time for Sonic and Shadow and them. Because, folks, I'm sorry. You don't put Shadow in this movie and then show him possibly dying and expect there to be nothing. Because, yes, as I said, I am discussing spoilers and whatnot. There are two post-credit scenes. I can't really bend my freaking finger here. There's 2 post-credit scenes, folks. 2 of them. One of them introduces 2 well-known game characters for the next movie, and the other one confirms that Shadow is alive. Shadow survived what he went up against in space. So, yeah, I'm also wondering how they're going to fix the moon, because there's no Dragon Balls in a Dragon Ball Z movie with the Sonic shell. But yeah, when I say Dragon Ball Z movie with Sonic shell, I mean this shit. We see Super Shadow and Super Sonic fighting in this movie. And folks, when I say fighting, I'm not talking about, cartoon fights here or there. Yep. I'm talking Dragon Ball Z style bashing, man. These 2 are hitting each other hard enough to send them freaking into orbit. These 2 are fighting all over the planet. These 2 are kicking ass, taking names, and not giving a shit. Because Sonic has a moment of crisis in this movie. That's another thing that I really like. With Shadow being as evil as he is in the movie, we see Sonic brought low emotionally, which is beautiful storytelling, because it's like you need a hero's journey that is going to invoke your rage. You need a character moment for Sonic that is going to give him that, I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to stop this fucker for what he did. And Sonic has that moment. He has that moment where it's like, I don't care. I know what we said about the Chaos Emerald. I need it. Because the only way this ends is with him dead. And, well, circumstances come out where they both end up with the power of the Chaos Emerald. But yeah, this movie is, I mean, I love this little piece of art here with both of them, or the whole side. I mean, this is also pure anime because they've done that before as well. But yeah, we see them eventually Shadow, because I do believe Shadow becomes a good guy in the shows and games and whatnot. I mean, he still has his he's like the Vegeta to Sonic's Goku. By the way, what is your thoughts on now debunked rumor that before Keanu Reeves was announced, Hayden Christensen was rumored to be the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog? Here's the thing. I didn't know it was debunked, but listening to Hayden Christensen talk and whatnot, I have a weird thing in my mind, or with the way that my mind works, folks. I can take different things and switch them out. So going back to certain scenes like "You're a colorful bunch" and the dialogue of Shadow, I can now take that and listen to Hayden Christensen in my head and test it out. I wouldn't need Hayden Christensen to go into a theater box and record audio. I don't need him to do that. I can hear it because I've heard him talk enough. And honestly, I think that Keanu Reeves was the better choice, because you got John frickin' Wick as a John Wick kind of character. This is a character who was wronged. And in that wrongness, he went ballistic. Sonic 4 is coming in 2027. Sucks we have to wait that long, but let's hope it's worth the wait. Y'all, you all want to know if it's worth the wait? Because I will prove to you right now it's worth the wait. This was also revealed in the post-credit scenes. She's coming, Amy Rose, as well as this guy, and many of them. Yep, Metal Sonics are coming. So yes, it's definitely well worth the wait. They greenlit the fourth movie before the third one even released. That's how confident they are in this movie. And they have every right to be, because after the first two successes, plus the success of the Sonic or the Knuckles show, I love the Knuckles show. I thought it was a great freaking little miniseries. And everybody's wondering, is it required to watch? Slightly? Yes, a little bit. It's fun to watch, definitely. It slightly has a little bit of a, what's the word, required viewing, because of some of the dialogue of Knuckles in this movie. I gave it to the one warrior, or to a true warrior, to defend it, to defend the Chaos Emerald. And we find out who it is. Why was Kristen Ritter good in Sonic? Kristen Ritter, I love her as Jessica Jones. I like her in this movie as well, because she plays a character that is untrustworthy. She has the best intentions. However, she goes about them in a way that you just don't like. That's her character. She is a character that you don't like, and she plays it well. If she can do that, or she's a character that people are not supposed to like, She's sick and tired of the Sonic working with them. She wants every excuse to get rid of Sonic and whatnot. And that's the kind of character she is in this. She plays it brilliantly. I like it. I like her in this character. I was surprised to see Amy and Metal Sonic. There's likely another character that would make sense how they got there. Fans of Sonic know who it is better than me. She's the only celebrity I've dreamt of multiple times. Nothing kinky. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wink, wink. But yeah, when I saw Amy Rose, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that pink Sonic chick. I've seen her in the shows, but I've seen her artwork and whatnot. And I've seen this Metal Sonic thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, that works too. But I've sort of been wondering, or I don't know too much about the characters. However, it's like, Well, obviously they are going to introduce, or with each of these movies, a new character is introduced. I said nothing. I know, I'm just messing with you, Vanya. But yeah, folks, I mess with my followers. I like playing around with them. But every one of these movies introduced a new character, and you know what? That's the thing. Or so a new character is coming. Amy Rose was, or it's just like all the other movies. Which new character is coming to Sonic in 4? Amy Rose. It only makes sense. Plus, who's going to be the new villain now that Robotnik is dead? Because yes, Robotnik dies heroically. I disagree with that. I mean, I love the movie. Don't get me wrong, folks. I love this movie, but there are some things that I wish they would stop doing, like redemption arcs for villains or for absolute villains, as I call them. Shadow is not an absolute villain. His anger and his rage, his villainy was due to him being hurt, him having that or needing to understand there's a better way. Robotnik is absolute evil, as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, they decided to have the redemption arc with Robotnik at the end of this movie, and Shadow as well. But Shadow deserved his redemption arc. I really enjoyed Jim Carrey's delivery in the lines of Sonic 3. Absolutely. The meta humor was great, like the Wrigley's Gum reference and the whole mocking the conventions. Yeah. Feel a sneeze coming on, but I don't know if it's going to come out or not. But anyway, I really like Sonic 3 because it is a movie that just unleashed. It's as if Jeff Fowler knows the best way to do these movies in a way that's going to geek out the big fans and the child fans and the adult fans of Sonic. Hey, Janet from another planet. How you doing, lovely lady? Good to see you. I am on her channel as well as Orange Hat Uncensored on Friday nights, folks. What's your favorite moment in the Sonic movies? And yes, please hit that like button for those of you who are passing through on YouTube. And also, well, stand by. Okay, I'm back. Am I back? I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. Am I back? But yeah, because it's saying low internet signal. So if any of you can or let me know how my audio is doing, I would appreciate it. I almost forgot to mention Matrix reference in the film, which was also in the trailer for those who saw all 3 films. Yeah. How would you compare Sonic 3 with other 24 or Sonic 3 is my favorite movie of 2024. It is by far the best movie of 2024 in my opinion. And there have been if I go to the theater to watch a movie, folks, it means that movie has garnered enough of my interest to see if it's good. And 2024 didn't disappoint with the movies that I saw. So yeah. Deadpool Wolverine, love that movie. But it didn't make my top 4. It's not going to be a movie that I'm discussing on the theme streams. Sorry if that pisses people off. But my favorite moment in all 3 Sonic movies, Sonic 2 has some really good movies or moments. But Shadow the Hedgehog versus Sonic the Hedgehog, both of them Super Saiyan or going Super Saiyan essentially in this movie where they both suck up the power of the Chaos Emeralds. I really like that moment. That is a great it's like, holy shit. I mean, there really is no greater moment than that reveal in this movie. So yes. And thank you for subscribing to Janet. She is definitely one worth subscribing to. But yes, as for this film, Paramount films such as Transformers 1, I didn't watch it. If, as an imaginary friend, I didn't watch it. Quiet Place Day 1, didn't watch it. Smile 2, refused to watch it. Gladiator 2, refused to watch it. Paramount does good jobs with the Sonic movies. They've been actually doing some good job with other movies too in the or shows that they're doing. Paramount is doing great with their shows. Their movies are hit and miss. I honestly saw no need for a Gladiator 2 film. Sonic beat a DC movie in 2020, beat a Marvel film in 2022, beat a Disney film in 2024. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? You know? I mean, or that just shows that Jeff Fowler knows what he's doing. And they're going to try stepping it up. You know Disney, you know Marvel, you know DC. They're all going to try stepping it up. And they're going to fail each time. You want to know why? Because people realize that Jeff Fowler cares more about their reactions than Disney does. Disney will, or if you complain about anything Disney, you're a racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe, this, that, you murdered your mama, you're a fuck your cousin, and all that shit. That's basically what they will say about you. They will drive your name through the mud if you give any sort of negative criticism about any of their work. Who remembers this after The Last Jedi came out? Oh, you're nothing but a bunch of man babies. Oh, you're nothing but a bunch of cousin humping or basement dwellers. Yeah, that's Disney. Oh, you're nothing but a bunch of racists if you didn't like Acolyte. Here's the thing, folks. Everybody's like, oh, or I got accused of being a shill for Disney because I gave objective criticisms on the Acolyte. I got attacked, but I'm not going to say by who. But it's not who many think it is. I actually got attacked by other people in the community as well. They're like, dude, no, there's nothing defensible about Acolyte. It's like, actually, there is. There are some objective qualities that are good about the show. I'm not saying the show is good. I am saying there are objectively good qualities to it. And I will defend those qualities because those are things that they need to actually incorporate into things to make them better. They're not ever going to be Star Wars. However, those little concepts, those little bits and stuff were actually decent, good jobs. When it's coming to objective criticism, folks, you got to take your bias out of it. You can't think about, I'm a Star Wars fan looking at this. No, you got to think about it. It's like, or from a perspective that is not a fan, but also not somebody who's automatically just going to shit on it, you know? Objective criticism, or here's the difference between objective criticism. Say, or we're going to take Sonic 2 here, or we're going to take Sonic 3 here. Objective criticism. You have a villain who's compelling. He is written in a way that makes him complicated, yet also does not make him, or that makes him extremely likable to audiences. That is objective criticism versus subjective criticism. Fucking Shadow the Hedgehog is the best freaking character in this entire freaking movie. It's no holds barred. It's awesome. It's cool. Dude, Sonic 3 is fucking awesome. That's subjective. You know? I'd be pissed if Paramount canceled the fourth Sonic movie in favor of Power Rangers reboot. Unlike Sonic, the PR reboot was rumored to cost $150 million for a studio that's bleeding money. The thing is, Sakura, they greenlit Sonic 4 before Sonic 3 even came out in theaters. They're that confident in this movie's success, and this movie is already starting to bank profit. Or this movie hit or made profit. Just showed the Sonic McDonald's commercial just now. Oh, cool. Didn't know there was one. But yeah, as much as I no longer eat at McDonald's, I love their Happy Meal box for kids because that's the wonderful thing. As I said earlier, folks, this movie plays to kids as well as adults. Adults can understand the complexities of the characters where the kids are just there to have a good time, watch Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Shadow kick the shit out of each other, and laugh at the jokes by evil Robotnik and whatnot, as well as laugh at the wit of Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, they're obviously going to be excited, especially if they know the game, seeing the shows and whatnot. With the reveal of Amy Rose in one of the post-credit scenes, when I went to the theaters, folks, and I go to my hometown theater, when I saw this in the theaters, grown-ass adults, I'm going to be turning 40 at the end, or at the beginning of next month. Me and other adults, some who are older than me, and others who are younger and whatnot, they were all reacting to the film in very excitable ways. And the kids were too. Me, when I'm going to watch a movie and review it and whatnot, it's like, I'm going to understand that there are going to be some excitable people. However, when I went to this movie, my movie experience wasn't the best due to there being a mom there who was, or who had her phone ringing loudly, and then she didn't even lower her voice or leave the room to talk on the phone. That bitch, it's like, I so wanted to say something, but I didn't. Believe me, I would have gotten an ovation in that theater if I had. But it's like, if you are going to be on the phone, or if you need to take a phone call, you put your buzzer on your phone, you hold your phone like this, down on your knee, and you wait. If you get a call, you lift it up, you have the brightness down so it's not going to catch anyone's eye, and then you leave the room if it's a call you need to take, and you whisper on your way out. Nobody will fault you with that. But no, you do not do this. You do not, let me basically set it up for you guys. Sound vibrations, ringtone. Yeah, you do not do this. Pick up your phone. Hello, what's up? Okay, can you hold? You do not do that in a theater. You don't do that in a theater because it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Do you not have any sort of respect for anybody else in this theater? Or if you're talking to a kid, get the fuck out of the goddamn room and talk to the person on the phone. But you don't freaking have your ringtone set up to max. You don't freaking have all of that shit. What the hell did I take a picture of just now? Oh, jeez. You don't have all that happen and then just totally disregard and be an uncourteous little fucktard. In this case, a bitch, because it was a woman. Now, don't take that anyway, folks. I'm not sexist by any measure. But it's like, seriously, get the hell out of the theater if you need to take a call. Well, I can't leave my kid here. Who the fuck's going to kidnap your kid? You know? Believe me, if anybody snatches a kid, tries to run with a kid, I'll be the first one out of my seat after that person. I protect, or this community that I live in, this community or my hometown, we believe in protecting everybody. So so that thing won't fly. What if Paramount bought the, when it comes to the Power Rangers, I am one who didn't have too much of a problem with the interpretation from 2017. I'm going to be honest, I didn't have anything wrong with that. However, I do acknowledge the flaws of that movie. I do acknowledge the flaws of it very much. I think that a Megazord doing a little jig for everybody to see is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? However, I'm not going to give it too much of a problem because, well, they also did have good cameos. As for Paramount buying the Power Rangers rights, if they can do it right, I will have no problem with it. Do it right, we won't have a problem with it. Do it wrong, we will have a problem with it. You're dealing with an IP, an intellectual property from Japan that most people over here embrace the Americanized version. Do it right. If you do it right, we won't have a problem. If you do it wrong, we will have a problem. So yeah, most people believe Paramount is okay when Skydance buys them after Hasbro drops funds for the movies. The thing is, I don't care what studio it is. Paramount's been doing good with their shows. Lioness, Taylor Sheridan is basically Paramount's lifeline. Or if they get rid of Taylor Sheridan, Paramount's fucked. Taylor Sheridan has been keeping Paramount afloat with his shows because they're bringing in views and they're bringing in ratings. Now, what if Paramount? But yeah. However, a lot of people are not liking Taylor Sheridan shows because it's gratuitous sex and violence and whatnot. It's like, no, this is reality. Believe me, folks, I have a problem with gratuitous sex and shit as well. But the thing is, I'm not going to deny the reality of situations. Like if a person is overseas coming home to their husband, chances are they're going to want to fuck because they're pent up. They've just been through a shitload of stress. They need that release to help relieve the tension in their bodies. Believe it or not, sexual healing is a thing. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny reality simply because some people are a little bit upset over the stuff. No, honestly, yes, you don't need to show it, sure. But the thing is, with what Taylor Sheridan is doing, he's taking 80s and 90s style storytelling, introducing it into a modern style of telling the story, and you're getting it great. You are getting it great. There's no wokeness in his shows. Or if they do have a little bit of social justice shit here and there, it's kept so down low on the burner that it won't boil, that it absolutely won't boil over into something stupid. So yeah, Paramount is actually doing a good job with a lot of their stuff. A couple of things here and there are stupid, sure. But for the most part, I have no problem with them, especially when it comes to Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog is their gold mine as well, movie-wise. Taylor Sheridan, their show-wise, with Landman, Mayor Kingstown, Lioness. I'm loving those shows, man. I'm loving their shows. As well as Tracker and a few other things. They're doing great with it. And you know what? They have female characters in there that are strong female characters, and they're doing great with it. Because they're not pushing the woke narratives. They're pushing the narratives that we had seen before wokeness ever started polluting entertainment. And that's the wonderful thing about Sonic 3, getting back to Sonic 3, because yes, I kind of went on a tangent there, and I do apologize. Sonic 3 is my top movie of 2024, because Sonic 3 was 100% not woke. Some people or someone will probably try to say, oh, well, what about this line? What about that line? Comparing it to the entirety of the movie, does it have any sort of major impact? No, it doesn't. So there really is not any wokeness in the film. I don't know if you've seen the comment, Orange Hat. How would I compare Sonic Trilogy with other trilogy films? Thank you for pointing it out, Neozoic. As for trilogies, Dark Knight trilogy, good. Indiana Jones trilogy, good. Back to the Future trilogy, good. Lord of the Rings trilogy, epic. Star Wars trilogy, original and prequels, epic. Sonic is up there in the epic state. Sonic is up there with the epics. Indiana Jones trilogy is epic. These are all epic trilogies. But Sonic 3, as one of the newer trilogies out there, it's an epic trilogy because it appeals to both children and adults. When you have movies like Star Wars, OT and PT, you need to appeal to both adults and kids. It did that. It did a good job at it too. Indiana Jones, that is a good trilogy because kids aren't really gonna, or kids will like it, sure, but they aren't going to understand it until they're older. Lord of the Rings, you got to be a fan to know, or you got to be a fan or somebody who likes fantasy in order to really enjoy that. And Then build your fandom from there. Sure, it's epic in my book because, well, holy crap, the visuals were amazing. But yeah, Back to the Future. I will always love Back to the Future, and I'm so glad that Zemeckis said there will be no more Back to the Future movies until I am dead. And it's like, thank God, because we don't need any more Back to the Future movies. Now, I wonder how this movie universe would treat other characters like Cream the Rabbit, Rouge the Bat, Blaze the Cat, the Chaotix, Big the Cat, Silver the Hedgehog, and many others. If they bring them in, awesome. I have no idea who those characters are. I am aware of the ones that they introduced at the end of this movie, Amy Rose and Metal Sonic. I was going to include the prequel trilogy, but I can't because of comment limitation. That's okay, Neozoic. But I get it, or I understood what you meant. But as for all these other characters, I'd like to see them in the movies. I mean, I can see Sonic going up to 6 movies. I can see them going up to 6 and not needing to go further than that, unless absolutely necessary, you know? I do not acknowledge the existence of any movies beyond the Last Crusade, Kamen Rider. So yeah, for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, this is the comment. I do not acknowledge anything past Last Crusade. So yeah. But anyway, folks, this is longer than my normal theme streams. I just love this movie so much. It's my top pick. What are my or next week? What shall we do for next week? Well, let me add a overlay for next week's theme stream. So let's see here. Top picks. All right. So next week I will pick another one that I thoroughly enjoyed. And let's see here. Doink, doink, doink. Wait 1 second. It's still uploading. This is what I will be discussing after it's done uploading. I do apologize. I should have uploaded this beforehand. That's my bee. Well, that's cute. The spinning circles. The slow blue one and the black one is lapping it like a million times, almost like Sonic and Shadow. Cool. But yeah, if you guys were seeing what I'm seeing in my studio right now, you'd laugh your heads off. Oh, and all right. So this is what I'm going to be discussing next week, folks. It's going to be, well, I believe I have it picked, so I don't know why. There we go. Beetlejuice. I will be discussing this next week because I absolutely, when I went to the theater to see Beetlejuice, holy crap. I had been needing, at that point, I needed a laugh. And Michael Keaton tickled the laugh bone extremely, extremely hard, man. That dude was awesome. But anyway, folks, thank you so much to Kamen Rider, Neozoic, Sakura, who else? Janet from Another Planet, Pierce, everybody else who was also watching on X. You all are freaking awesome. If you want, or tonight at 8 p.m., I will be on the Barroom Podcast. They have a new time on Society Reviews channel. We will be discussing some stuff going on, entertainment, as well as politics and other stuff. So definitely pay attention to that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, 1 o'clock for Beetlejuice. Later this month, it's going to be for the singles with Mara Jade, Alita, Battle Angel, and Warm Bodies. So yeah, make sure you pay attention for those ones. Or the last 2 Thursdays of the month. And yeah, I will see you guys then. And y'all have a wonderful day. And always remember to stay humble. Peace.
Are you done? Are you done?